Most of you, if you've been on IRC or GitHub or whatever, are going to know me by Iggy. And pretty much everybody else in the world, except for my mom calls me that. My mom calls me Brian Jackson. Except usually she doesn't use my last name.
When she knows you're in trouble.
No, then she uses my middle name. I've been using open source for 19 years, roughly. Contributing for 15 years. Contributed to lots of different projects over that time frame. Some of those you may know, some of them are dead, some of them I killed personally. And SaltStack that I've been contributing to for about the last 7 months or so. We looked up my IRC logs. The company I work for is called OnCenter Software. We make software for project management and different aspects of construction. It's completely, totally non-tech related, but my side is anyway. I work for OnCenter Software. Been in business for like 27 years, like I said. We've had a lot of products over the years that some were written in the 80s and kind of dragged kicking and screaming through the decades. And like I said, recently moved to a cloud-based product. This is going to be a very ugly and simplified version of what our network looks like, just to give you an idea of what moving parts we have. The entirety of our systems are in Google Cloud Engine. We use their built-in firewalls, built-in load balancers. We also have, we've got our application servers that I've leveling called workers up there. There's a lot of different ones that doesn't really matter. We have endpoints coming into our network that are REST endpoints, and then we've got MQ clusters and brokers and stuff that coordinate all the different pieces. Like the person sitting in the office uploads some drawings, and that automatically gets synced out to the iPad, or not automatically, but and then multiple people in the office can work on different things, and it all talks through the MQs and the REST servers. And then we've got all of our ops stuff, the salt and the monitoring and the logging and a couple other things in there that are inconsequential. I also made this diagram using the KDE Office product, so just stay away from those for now, guys. Biggest lesson I've learned when I started using Salt and using it excessively in where I work. There are probably for any given task that you need to do, there are probably hundreds, possibly different ways to do different things. When I first got started, I had used Salt vaguely for a while, but I was more a heavy user of other products in the same space that we champagne. Those other projects are, they've got very much this is how you do this, this is how you do this, and this is how you do this. Salt doesn't really have anything like that. It took me 2 weeks looking around trying to figure out, okay, so how am I supposed to do this with Salt? How am I supposed to do this with Salt? And you're not going to find that. There's a ton of different ways. Pick the one that works best for you and makes the most sense to you, and hope that it doesn't confuse the next person that has to look at your code. And we also use some stuff that a lot of people frown upon, such as grain rolls and stuff like that, but we have a very specific setup that allows that. So also, if you want help in the IRC channel, this is another lesson learned. Post some code, paste bin, not paste bin, what is that? Ref heap, just GitHub, whatever. So now we're getting into the practical things that I've done that I never found anybody else that did it, so I figured, hey, I'll talk about it today. Our backups run off of a scheduler, which runs an orchestrate job, which runs all these different little steps that do different things. So we have the scheduler runs a job that coalesces, like, we back up multiple things, but we'll use databases as an example. It runs a Postgres command that coalesces the database, then takes a snapshot, and then unfreezes the database. So here's the scheduler job. We see that it runs at, I think that's 3 o'clock in the morning every day. And that scheduler runs this part of it's just a Postgres module that does a PSQ query. Start the backup. The argument there is actually completely useless. It took me like a day to figure that out. What do I put in this argument? And apparently it's some historic thing where Postgres requires an argument for random commands for some reason. Then we have our snapshotting. Currently, we are using some custom Python scripts that I wrote that do the figuring out which volumes need to be snapshotted and everything, because, well, when we first started using Salt Cloud, had some issues that made it to where we couldn't use it. And it just tags everything that's a DB server. And then it stops the backup, which oddly this one doesn't need an argument. I don't know why the first one did, but anyways. And that's, I haven't actually tested restoring backups yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work right. We can edit that part out, right? Also, along the way, I've written a couple things to help us out, and since we're all of our stuff's in Google Cloud Engine, we've got they have some features that we take advantage of. They've got like project, or they call them projects. It's probably closer to what Salt would consider an environment. They've got metadata that's environment-wide. And they also have metadata that is per instance. So the scripts that I mentioned that I wrote that do what Salt Cloud should have been doing but didn't, it puts all of our grains in the instance metadata, and then that's why I use grains for roles instead of pillars that everyone seems to love these days. So pulls metadata from GCE and stuffs it into our grains. So, and also we have one that grabs the external IP address, which is something that's also in the instance metadata. So you can see it's pretty simple, just a little something that we shove in underscore modules directory and works great for us. There's also there's similar things in, I've actually been allowed to push this back upstream to the SaltConf15 project or repo. So this is there, and then there's also there's some AWS ones and similar thing. I mean, most cloud providers have a similar concept of metadata for instances, and you can get all that. And my code actually does have doc strings and stuff like that. It ran off the screen, so I deleted them. One of the other interesting things that I came up with, which I learned yesterday why I have some problems with it every once in a while, thanks to Cashed Out. Every time we've got events that, you know, anything off the event bus that we are interested in, you know, like whenever we do a high state or whatever, Graphite has an event publishing URL that you can like, you know, and you send an event to it, and whenever you look at your graphs, it'll show you that there's a line on that graph where an event happened, which is pretty cool because, you know, we can look back at our graphs and hey, there was a high state right here, and then right after that, memory shot through the roof on 18 hosts. So I wired up Graphite to push that, or wired up Salt to push that to Graphite. It's pretty simple, post event, and apparently like I said, I've had some issues with this module in the past, and come to find out that, yeah, it got fixed. No, it was Thomas Jackson that mentioned the fix for it. It gets into a infinite recursion loop and eats my Salt server, and I get mad and delete it and respin up everything with a script that I wrote. But in theory, you just see a line on your graphs, and it's all pretty. Of course, I'm the only one that looks at the graphs, and I'm the only one that does high states. Might have been kind of pointless anyways. I feel like I'm moving way too fast here. Yeah, like way ahead. Yeah, so I burned through those slides way too fast. This is going to be like my last slide, and all right. Well, I'll just go ahead and we'll have a long question and answer session. I'm always on IRC. I test in production, so Iggy.ninja is down this morning. Just saying. OnCenter.com is the company I work for. Freenode, Salt. Go there, get help. Paste your Salt states and everything else you can, so I don't spend 30 minutes trying to fix your problem. I spend a lot of time on IRC, by the way. And my company's hiring. Oh, wait. Oh.
Will you be posting these examples on GitHub or something?
Some of them already are. The backup stuff, I need to take out some of our IP, I guess if you want to call it. So our company, like I said, has been around for a long time. It's established, profitable, privately held. We're hiring lots of different positions, if you know anybody. DevOps position, Java development position, C# development position, some other ones, I don't know. There's a career section on there. Go check it out.
Can you show some of your Graphite stuff?
I actually can't because we limit access to any of that stuff to our office. And I don't know how to VPN into our office. I live like 5 minutes away, so anytime I have a problem, I'm like, VPN or just drive there. And if you come to work with us, you get to work with me. All this.
Oh, wow.
All right, questions?
So you're sending annotation events to Graphite right now from the event bus. Have you thought about just scrubbing metrics into the event bus and using that for Graphite?
We tried sending stuff to Riemann and having it kind of toss a bunch of stuff and normalize different things and handle that a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like Riemann very much. I'm not gonna learn Clojure to write a config file. So we're looking for other options presently.
Can you repeat what that question was?
Oh, sorry. The question was, what was the question?
Sending custom metrics to Graphite from the event bus.
Oh, sending metrics to Graphite from the event bus. Yeah, it's something that, like I just answered the question, but it's something that Graphite itself doesn't handle very well. You need something to kind of normalize that data into, you know, all right, there were 4 high states in the last 5 minutes and push that as a metric. But like I said, Graphite or Riemann is hopefully on its way out where I work, even though I was the one decided to use it. There's quite a few of them. I know Prometheus is new and shiny, and Cabot's been around for a while. It does some of that. We were interested in the alerting part of Riemann at first because we were using Slack at one point, and we could have it just push a bunch of stuff to a channel, and unfortunately we don't use Slack anymore, and so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Why did you drop Slack?
Internal politics, we'll call it. I don't have a better answer than that. Man.
Just a small question about the Salt Cloud issues you run into, actually. It's like, hasn't been that already fixed, like with the newest versions, these kind of stuff, or are you still having issues with it?
So I actually have a forked version of the Salt formula that we use to manage all of our Salt config files on the master and the minions and all that stuff. Haven't touched the Salt Cloud stuff since we gave up on it a while back. And so in development, I've been testing 2015.2, and everything just magically works. So.
Can you repeat the question?
Damn it, you told me that. So the question was, what problems do we have with Salt Cloud, and Why do we use something else, basically? And, like I said, it works now. It didn't work back then. I think it was some weird Salt versus live cloud interdependencies and GCE, but it all works now. So use Salt Cloud and GCE and whatever else. Any other questions? Cool.